Okay, so now that you have counted your 12 over, made sure there's 16 and then another 12 going around the edge, you're going to go ahead and start a new area. So you're going to go ahead and pull that through, and then you're going to go ahead and chain 3. Now this is going to count as your first double crochet, and then you're just going to continue along the top right here, going across for 15 more stitches, and you're going to be doing just a double crochet in each of them. It is a little bit tricky to get like right in there, just because of the fact that you've already done a double crochet in that stitch because you've done it going this way. So it is a little bit of a challenge. It's not easy and pretty. I do carry this chain through so that it makes it prettier, and kind of also holds down the chain a little bit better, and it just holds everything in together better. I still do cut it at the end whenever it comes off, but like it kind of secures it and anchors it if you put it in there. So go ahead and you have your chain 3, which counts as the first double crochet, and then do 15 more double crochets, and you'll have 16 at the end. Okay, so I have finished double crocheting all the way across, and that's 16 counting the chain 3 as that first stitch. Now the tricky thing about the front bib is on this way we increased, going the other way we're going to have to be decreasing. So at the end of the row you are going to chain 2, or yep, chain 2 just like that, then flip it around because we're doing rows again, and you're going to do a double decrease. There's a couple different ways you can do a double crochet decrease. The way that I do it is like this. If you want to do it a different way, that's fine. But what I do for that is I yarn over, and then I go ahead and go into that first, where you would put the first crochet stitch, I yarn over, and then I actually go into where I do the second one, and I yarn over again, and then I go through the first 3, and then I go through the last one. To me, it just is a fuller stitch and it doesn't pull the yarn as much. Another way to do it is just to put your hook through both, so I can show that method as well. So another way to decrease is to go yarn over, and then you go through the first and you go through the second, and then you pull it through, and then you do it, finish out your normal one. I personally like the other method more. I think it doesn't knot up as much, and it just looks a little bit smoother to me. Either method works. You can do whichever one you want. So you're going to chain 2, decrease, and then you're going to just do normal double crochet in the next 12, and then at the end of the row you're going to do another decrease stitch. And that's row 2. Once you get to the end of that second row, I'm going to chain 2 more and then turn for the third row. For the third row, you're going to do another decrease stitch at this front part. Then you're going to do double crochet across the next 10, and then do another decrease stitch at the very end of that row, and that's going to be your third row. Okay, so when you're done with the third row, you are going to go ahead and chain 2, and then you are going to go ahead and turn your work kind of sideways, and you're going to go ahead and single crochet down the double crochets like we did before, and then you're going to do another single crochet around this leg hole area, and then up the side of the back of the diaper cover. When you get to this top flat area of the back side of the diaper cover, we are going to be doing something different, and we're going to be adding the little loops for the buttons. So when I get to that point, I'm going to show you what to do next. So go ahead and pause once you get to that point. Okay, we're getting to the end almost of the romper, which is really exciting. If you get to the bottom, once you get to the bottom of the diaper cover, you're going to put one crochet, a single crochet in this first little stitch right here. Then you are going to chain 2, and then you're going to skip 2, and then go ahead and insert here, and you're going to single crochet 1, and then the next one put another single crochet. Then you're going to go ahead and chain 2, and then you're going to go ahead and skip 2, and then once again insert into that next one and do a single crochet, and then into the next one another single crochet, and then you're going to chain 2 again, and then skip 2, and then in the corner one put your last single crochet for that row. Then you're going to go ahead and continue to go down and around, and then back up the next side to get to where, and then back across the top. and get back to where you originally started this last row. And then it'll have a nice border around the whole bottom part of the romper. Okay, so after putting the loops and the whole loops in the back part, I did finish doing a single crochet all the way around, back up to where we were at in this corner, tied it off. I'm going to sew this in. So that is all the crocheting you have to do for this cute little romper. The next step is to sew buttons on. I'm going to do a little research real quick because I don't know if all buttons are kid safe. So I'll be back in a second. It's just going to keep playing for you. I'm going to do some research on that. But what you're going to do is you're going to fold your little romper in half and get it aligned perfectly. And then go ahead and fold it over, and you can see where the holes will, the 3 holes that are equally spaced out, but you're just going to attach 3 buttons going across here, perfectly matching it. And then it's the same thing on this other area for the back straps. Fold it in half perfectly, and then you're going to just use your strap to figure out where right here and right here you're going to attach the 2 other buttons, which can be larger. They can all be the same size. It's whatever you want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and attach my buttons, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. If you've not yet commented below, please comment below what color you're using for yours and what you want the next project to be. Super exciting to finish this romper with you guys. Okay, welcome back. I had to wait a couple of days. I ended up buying new buttons because I didn't like the buttons I'd originally purchased with for this romper. I did change the sizing of the buttons. So originally at the beginning of the video, I said that I was going to attach 3 half-inch buttons and then 2 1-inch buttons. Instead, I did use the 1-inch size buttons for the back straps, but then the front straps, I ended up using 3.6-inch buttons. So this is what this looks like. I just, like I said in the last video, last little section, I did 3 little ones right here. They're equal distance. They are completely sewn on. And then they just like come on attached like that. And then on the back, I did put the buttons a little bit inward to help keep the straps up on the shoulders. The great thing about this is if the straps are too long for the child, you can also crisscross them. So that's also a fun little thing. And these are the 1-inch buttons. I ended up going with like a brown turquoise, tortoiseshell type button. The original ones I bought just like didn't match, but I thought that these brown buttons really matched like the specs that are in this yarn. So that's why I did that. The research I found mixed, which I feel like is what happens when you raise a baby and you have a baby, is that everyone has their own opinions. So I did see a lot of places that just said like buttons in general are not safe for babies, which is understandable. I personally did an X when I was sewing the buttons on, but I purposefully put way more stitches than I typically would have, like if it was something for my personal clothing. And I did make sure like I did it so that like it's not going to come off. Like you can, I tested them, and so that was like the biggest concern, is that button safety, and that if a button can come off, it can hurt a child because it can become a choking hazard. So those are just things to consider when you're making it. If you do want to put buttons on it, make sure it is, like I said, ultra safe, and like really pull on it and see, and then just like as your child is wearing it, to continuously check the buttons to make sure that they're not going to come off. And then the other alternative is just to not use buttons. Theoretically, you could just sew down the straps there and then put something like clasp or ties down here. So those are other options you can do, but it's your kid, so it's whatever you feel comfortable doing. If you are going to put your child in this, then watch them constantly and do things like that, where making sure that they don't have the ability to, for some reason, if the button is able to come off, that they don't swallow it. So like definitely don't like have them sleep in something with the button, things like that. So just make sure if they're wearing this, you're watching, if you are worried about button safety. But this is what the wrapper turned out to be. I'm really excited for my friend to get it. I really did enjoy making this lovely baby romper with all of you. Thank you so much for sticking with us to the very end. I am sorry for breaking continuity with my shirt and even the background changing. I'm moving. I could not find the other shirt I was wearing, especially because it's been a couple days because I had ordered these buttons. I did find these off of Amazon for a really great deal. It was only like $12 for like 150 buttons. I knew that with what I'm making and how much stuff I make, that I would use all of them at some point in time. But if you're not gonna feel like you're gonna use this many different sizes and things like that, feel free just to spend extra money and just get like the 2 or 3 you needed. But I personally was able to use like this size and this size, and I know that for clothing and things like that, I will be able to use the other ones. So I'm excited to do some more projects with those. But I loved making this with all of you. I hope you guys stick around for all of the future projects that we're going to continue to make with yarn. And I can't wait for that follow button. Please hit it so that I can continue to do this for all of you lovely people. And feel free to post photos of what you've made below. I would love to see all of your creations. See you next time. Bye, friends.